Despite a free week for players, Bungie's struggling extraction shooter Marathon is still in trouble. Welcome to Inside Games Daily, the only gaming news show brave enough to still play Marathon every day. Oh, it hurts so good, but gosh, I guess I'm one of the chosen few. It's not looking good, is it, Brian?
No. In a word, no. It's in trouble, and there may be huge layoffs coming at Bungie, but we will get to that in a second. First, let's talk a little bit about Marathon. This is coming from Paul Tassi of Forbes, who's been all over this. The game's Steam population briefly climbed to about 40,000 concurrent players when Season 2 launched.
Good sign. People wanted to check it out. Unfortunately, just didn't last. Player count steadily declined over the following days, dropping to around 18,000 by the end of the extended free week, and falling even further to a peak of around 12,700 players on Monday night.
Yeah, which is almost exactly where Marathon ended its first season. Before the new update, the game had settled into roughly about 11 to 12,000 concurrents on Steam after 2 months. Following Season 2, again, it returned to that same baseline in just 2 weeks. So that is not great. Not what they wanted, for sure.
Yes, you want to retain players and then attain new ones instead of having people like step one. They got people in the door, but yeah, they're just not sticking around. After getting kicked in the shins a lot by Marathon, I don't blame anyone for deciding it's not their game. Yeah. Currently, Marathon's not in a great spot. It's outside of Steam's top 100 best-selling games, currently ranking number 116 in sales and number 157th in daily users.
Yeah, and we should note that Bungie had been making tweaks to try to attract and retain new players, so that makes these numbers even more of a bummer. They sped up progression so players could unlock meaningful upgrades sooner. They adjusted matchmaking so you're not just thrown in with a sweat, and they introduced a more accessible PvE style mode on the Night Marsh map. So again, yeah, trying not to make it, I found it a little bit tough at first, so they were trying to adjust that.
Definitely was. Yeah, and I can attest the beginning of Season 2 did feel like a lot of the pressure had been let off. I can already feel it coming back on, though. The sweats are starting to get sweaty again. And yeah, the survival mode was in effect a PvE mode. I got a lot of contracts done on that mode, and that was a nice, weirdly low stress way to play Marathon. And even on top of that, Tassi does remind us all that there's a larger PvE experimental mode still planned for later in this season. Because yeah, fighting the game's bots, they're not pushovers. This ain't Destiny. They will mess you up if you let them. But that's what makes it so thrilling, but also not for everybody, for sure.
That's right. And to clarify, we are a sweat-friendly podcast, me and Law Dog over here. We're no stranger to that lifestyle. Meanwhile, Destiny 2 getting some big numbers after Bungie announced that the game would no longer receive updates. It's like when they say a favorite bar is closing and everybody kind of shows up those last few days.
Yeah, like Kohl's in downtown LA, inventor of the French dip. We're losing a bit of history. Little local tragedy anyway. Bit of a bummer, but suddenly Destiny's in the best spot it's been in years here. On June 8th, it saw 35,000 players according to SteamDB. The next day, it surged to 167,000 players. Incredible burst in popularity. A lot of people are really happy with it, but unfortunately, even this surge of popularity has not changed Bungie's stance on the future of Destiny 2.
Yeah, in a recent video, Tassi said, even in the wake of this well-performing update, I asked my sources, is there anything that this has done to kind of move the needle to change things based on how well this has been received, how many people are playing? Is there anything that has changed? And the one-word answer I got back is no.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine that any kind of blip, no matter how amazing. It's just, I don't think you make plans and announce and execute the complete shutdown of an operating service like this if a week's worth of player base could change your mind. Yeah.
Yeah, he also said Destiny 2's upcoming final hotfix will address bugs and issues from the final update. After that, the team keeping the game on life support will be disbanded or let go. So yeah, he basically said unless there's some critical game-breaking bug, whatever bugs are left will just stay there.
Gosh, you'd think since monetization is still on in the game, that they could afford to keep one or two people at least keeping the heartbeat going, but no, I guess it's just going to be some server with spiderwebs on it, slowly ticking its way towards death in the back of Bungie's server room at some point. Yeah, that's all a huge bummer. And it doesn't sound good at all for the people who were working on Destiny. Because, one journalist says that there are huge staffing cuts coming for Bungie. I think we cynically kind of all saw this coming, especially when, for me, it was when they didn't announce that they were moving everyone onto a new project. It was, we have to explore, and if they don't already have a project funded and ready to go, you just can't keep people on staff doing nothing. So yeah, this sucks.
Yeah, so take this with a grain of salt. This comes from a French journalist named Sylvain Trenel. But I looked at his bio. It feels like he's legit, writes for some outlets. But, we haven't had confirmation beside this. But he wrote on X that there will be massive layoffs at Bungie this summer, affecting 50% of the staff. So yeah, massive is the right word.
He also wrote in a follow-up post that many people at PlayStation don't understand the decision made at the top to discontinue Destiny 2. So that's pretty baffling.
Yeah, and then he added, this was very recently, some have told me that there's a kind of desire for revenge as Sony's leadership reportedly blames Bungie for a number of issues with their games as a service strategy. So, I don't know, some spicy meatballs for you there.
Yeah, I understand the desire to apply kind of a human drama to the movements of a corporation, and sometimes that happens because there's people that work here, and I could certainly understand thinking that a company would feel a little resentful if they had spent the money that Sony spent on Bungie only for nearly all of their service games to flop. So that's an interesting take, and one that it will probably fall on very dry and thirsty kindling for people that enjoy the rumor side of video games. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure that the opportunity of making money usually overpowers any of that.
Yeah, and I'm sure with any big organization, there probably are some, mixed opinions, and there's probably people who thought that acquisition was a great idea, some people who may have always been against it. Who knows? But a former Bungie employee seemed to respond to that report from Trenel. Leanna Rupert, a former community manager, wrote on X that Bungie deserved better. But then she didn't elaborate. But it seemed like that was kind of an allusion to the lead. I don't know. It is not great over there right now.
Not great. I understand it. I get the frustration, especially for longtime fans of Bungie. I'd gotten pretty cynical about Bungie, but Marathon's got the sauce. At least it has some sauce for specific players, specifically me, people that have the time and the tolerance to get wrecked by very good players on the internet. But gosh, you can't argue with the aesthetic and the punch of that game. The trailers, even if you don't play the game, just watch all the trailers because there's some pretty beautiful psychedelic cyberpunk sci-fi in there. And yeah, apart from that, it's just a bummer. One thing that occurred to me. The reason that this may not move any needles at Bungie is because, and I hate to say this, maybe they knew. Like at any moment they could have thrown this switch, put the game in this state, attracted back all these players, but they are only doing this because they're exiting a window of monetization. So I don't know. I don't think it's an accident that they knew exactly how to open the game up, and they're doing that as quickly as possible. I think to some degree, they always knew that what would make the players happy versus what keeps them engaged and monetized. And that's one of I think that's kind of core to a lot of people's growing discontent with the game, especially maybe compared to other games of services that haven't played those particular tricks and continue to entertain their fan bases. So it's a bummer, though. It's a real bummer. Bungie deserved better. At the end of all this, I think I can agree with that, because there was some real talent there that made some really amazing stuff, and it just got stuck behind too many velvet ropes and membership fees and everything.
Yeah, I agree. It deserved better. I also think that spike in player numbers for Destiny 2. I got to assume you expect that on some level. It's a big game. It's been announced that it's basically going under. I mean, not so people are going to check it out, or just one last time. It's like, not to be morbid, but like when a musician dies, everybody starts listening to their music for a day or two to just remind themselves, kind of a memorial, something like that. I think that's a little bit of what we're seeing with Destiny 2 right now.
A little bit, yeah. Not to discount the actual, merit of the update itself, because it is pretty meaningful. I haven't played it myself, but I did get to our Paul Tassi, Jacob Fullerton, has Inside Games fans may not know this gentleman, but he is a Destiny laureate, and he's back in. He was speaking very highly of the last update, specifically about how it's made a lot of content relevant again. A lot of gear has been revamped to be useful, and it's opened up entirely new builds. There's old content that now you can play in new ways. Like, it actually is seemingly a pretty genuinely amazing update. And Sparrow Racing's back. Sparrow Racing's back. But also, they probably could have brought Sparrow Racing back at any moment. So, it's one of those things. Like, there's the cynical burnout in the back of my head that keeps kind of like chattering about this stuff, the devil on my shoulder. And I think that devil's why we ended up in this spot with Destiny, unfortunately. But it is tragic to think about all the worlds we could have seen, but we can be grateful for all the ones we have seen, and at least we have the ability to go back. Game's not going anywhere. Not yet, anyway. Hey, speaking of not going anywhere, we're going to be reporting the gaming news as long as we're able. As long as these internet pipes carry our voices and you're willing to watch us do it, we're going to do it. So thank you very much for choosing to watch Inside Games today. We only get to do this because people watch, and we appreciate that. There's another factor, though. We do have a Patreon. Some people support us directly. There's not a whole lot of... We're not going to strong arm you. We post everything for free on the Patreon with specialty memes that are also freely available. So go check that out if you like. If you like a good scroll, a good meme scroll. But we do have some direct supporters. Specifically, I'd like to shout out UESC Battleroid. Very fitting patron to shout out on today's episode. Hopefully we'll be running that marathon for a few years yet and enjoying the collective art that we get to enjoy out of Bungie. So thank you very much for watching. We'll see you all next time on Inside Games.